Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my story as hidden identity? I am a Zimbabwean man who is currently staying here in South Africa, and I have been working for a long time as a gardener. There is a house where I worked for nearly 6 months. And to this very day, it troubles me a lot because of what happened in those 6 months when I was working for this other man who was South African. So what he will do, this man, is that he would buy some houses and he would renovate them. Even though I had been working as a garden boy, but I was also a builder. I do have a certificate, and he employed me because he knew that he would be saving money. I will do garden work, and when there was no garden work, then I'll be busy renovating the houses that he would have bought. And then when the tenants want to move in, then he would take me and I'll start to stay at one of his other house. That was the business that he was doing, him and his wife. But I did not know that these people, they were ritualists. I only got to find out that these people, they were heavily involved in a lot of rituals. After he had taken me to this other house where we were supposed to repair the ceiling, and we were supposed to just repair the whole house because it was an old house that belonged to other white people. So after they had passed away, their children, then they sold off the house to him. So we started to work there. Whilst I was working, since the people that I was working with, they were boys that I would just pick up from the location that were from Zim. When they would return back to the location at night, I used to see a ghost of a woman that would approach me, and she would say that she wants to sleep with me. But I did not know that this was the ghost of a woman that had died, that had been sacrificed by my boss. I just thought that maybe they were weird dreams. And because I believed that in our family there was a lot of witchcraft, so I thought that maybe it was someone from back in Zim that was sending these things to me, like the tokology, the spirit of the dead woman, so that the woman can trouble me and give me bad luck. So I would try to resist this woman whenever she would come to me, whenever she would say that she wanted to sleep with me. I would try to resist her as much as I could. One day she came to me and she was wearing my wife's face. She actually looked as if she was my own wife. That was when I said to my wife, whom I thought was my wife, but it was a spirit of a dead person. I said, here you are. Why didn't you tell me that you're going to pay me a visit here in South Africa? I could have prepared a nice place so that when you come, we can stay in the location. Look at where we are staying right now, because we had already removed half of the roof of that house. So I did not mind anyway, because I was used to be living in those situations. Then she said no, she did not care. All she wanted was my love that I was going to give to him. Knowing my wife, whenever she would visit me from Zim, she would complain that she is tired. She can just sleep with me. Then after we do like one round, then she will say that she wants to rest. But the next day when she has rested, then we can sleep as much as we want with each other. But what surprised me on that night when I was having this dream, which felt so real, she did not get tired. We did the first round, the second one, up to 7, like we had never, ever since we had gotten married. So I was even surprised at myself, because I was able to last very long. And after I would have slept with him, and then I would see that my manhood would be ready to sleep with a woman again. Then we will do it 30 minutes, and I just rest for about a minute. Then I'll get the energy to sleep with her again. And as for him, the way that she was tasting, she tasted like I had never tasted a woman ever since I had started to make love to a woman in my entire life. So this was something that was very surprising for me. And then that was when I woke up, and when I woke up, to my surprise, it was already 8 a.m. and the boys that I was working with, they were busy banging the gate. They had been standing there by the gate from 6:30 because we started work at 7 o'clock. So they had been banging the gate and I did not even hear them banging the gate. So this is what happened when I slept with the spirit of a dead woman. After I had woken up, I was surprised, but I said life has to continue. After work, I then went to this other prophet who is also from Zim. Then that prophet assisted me, gave me some holy prayers, and I used the water that he had given to me, and then I started to use them. But I kept on having the same dreams over and over again until this woman, she came to me and she said that she was pregnant for me. And what surprised me, this happened within about a month. And when she said that she was pregnant for me, like she told me that she was going to give birth, she was about to give birth. I found myself, I was by the cemetery, and this woman, she was getting ready to give birth, and a child came out. But this child that came out, it was not a real human being. It was a frog, and that frog just vanished. That was when I saw my boss's face. He was hiding behind this other large tombstone, like there was an angel that they had carved out of that tombstone. So that was where he was, and he was hiding. He did not want me to see that he was there. I saw him and he said, boss, come and see. I have seen something that I never thought would even exist. I have seen this woman whom I have been sleeping with, but now she is pregnant and she has just given birth. But look at her stomach. She is getting ready to give birth to another child. And then another frog came and the frog disappeared. When my boss saw that I had seen him, that was when he just ran away, and I woke up. When I woke up, I found out that the zip on my trousers, it had been opened up, and my manhood was full of blood, and I saw 2 frogs that were jumping around in the room where I was. My boss's car was also driving into the yard. I got up and then I went outside. I did not even get the time to clean myself. The only thing that I could do was to just put my manhood back into my trousers, and I said, I'm going to deal with this later on after my boss would have gone. And when I went to where my boss was, that was when he said to me, he knew the dreams that I was having and he wanted to assist me. He took me to a Sangoma where they took a bird's feather and he did some rituals on my manhood. And he said that it was good that he had found that the blood was still there on my manhood. Therefore, they were going to cleanse me, and it was going to be easy for them to cleanse me. After they had cleansed me, my boss then gave me money. This money that he gave to me, I would count it. He told me that the money that he had given to me, it was 5K. And then that was when I started counting it after he had dropped me off at his house and he went back to his shop because he had a big supermarket. When I was left alone, I started to count the money. To my surprise, I counted 5K the whole day. You count from 100 rands to 1,000 rands and you will see that the money that you have counted, it is still there. And I did this throughout the day, but it was 5K. It was not increasing. It was still 5,000 rands, but you won't be able to finish counting it. Then I started to spend that money. I spent the money for the next 4 months or so, and I was unable to finish spending that money. I even went back home and I bought 3 cows with that money. But then that was when my child passed away. And when my child passed away, that was when we went to a traditional healer. Me and my wife, we were told that my boss had sacrificed my child. The money that I had agreed to take, It was part of a sacrifice. He had taken it from a coffin that he keeps in his house, and he gives it to the person that he would want to sacrifice, just like what he had done to me. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our DM brother. Strange things, they do happen in this world. Let us try to speak with our brother in the comment section. He says that sometimes when he wakes up at night, if he tries to pray, he can hear a voice that speaks to him, and this voice will say to him, stop whatever that you think you want to do, stop it before I end your life. So it is a demonic threat, which he says he keeps on having these demonic threats. Let us try to speak with him in the comment section. Then there is another message that was sent to us by one of our dear brother. The world is very scary. The message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashim. My heart is full of regret. I have been counting my losses, and I think that I'll be able to pay off the debt that I am owing. Maybe in the next 5 years to come, I'm still going to be paying for the huge losses that I have made. So this is what happened. I had been working and I had a nice job. I can say that I was traumatized after I had found out that my wife was cheating on me. I started dating my wife when we were still in grade 11, even when we went to university, even though my mom could not afford me to go to the university where my girlfriend had said that her parents wanted her to go to, but I had to force my mom. I lied to my mom and I told her that I was going to get the best education if I would go to that university, and also get the best opportunities because I'll be connected to people that are born in wealthier families. So my mom then agreed, and I did this because I just wanted to be close to my girlfriend. So she fell pregnant whilst we were in university. Her parents, they approved of our relationship and they started to support us, and they assisted me to get a job after I had graduated. My wife and their family, they were like the rock that I was standing upon because I came from a very poor family. So when that foundation broke and there was a crack in the foundation, her family, they started despising me. They said that I was abusive simply because I hated the way that she had been cheating on me. And the more that I complained, the more I started to look as if I was someone that was evil-hearted and I was not a nice person. So then that was when we started fighting, and then she told me that she wanted a divorce. I thought that it was a joke, but she was not joking. She really wanted us to have a divorce. We ended up having a divorce, and then I was so much traumatized with love, with the way that I loved her, with everything that had happened. Then I lost myself. I then went online. I wanted revenge. I did not want to get married to another woman and say that this is my revenge. The kind of revenge that I wanted was to look for the most powerful traditional healer that was like from other countries that could assist me so that I can be able to bewitch her. I wanted her to become a crippled person, to have a stroke so that she won't even be able to wake up on her own, to even cook for herself, to even take herself to the toilet. I wanted her to suffer that much. That was my intentions with this woman. Then I was on Facebook and I kept on speaking with different traditional healers. As I was speaking with these healers, I then came across this other man who told me that he was in Cape Town and he was a traditional healer. We reached an agreement. He told me that his time here in South Africa was over because he had been hired by other South Africans. There was a businessman that had taxis that had invited him to come to South Africa so that he can be able to sort out some things that were troubling him. So since I could not make it to Cape Town in time, I was supposed to go to Zim. I said, okay, fine, there is no problem. So when this man returned back to his country, we kept on communicating. When he was in Zim, I then managed to go there after he had convinced me, and he told me that if this was what I wanted, revenge, we cannot do it over the phone. I was supposed to go there. I got into my car and then I went to his country, for he told me that there is no way that I can catch a flight because he was not staying in the capital city, he was staying in Masvingo. I took my car and I went with it, and this car, I had just finished paying it off, but the way that I paid it off, I had taken some money from the bank and I had put it so that I can be able to repay that car, and then I'll start to pay the bank gradually. So it was now like in my name and I was the owner, no longer under the bank. So I went to his country. When I arrived there, he assisted me. I even saw my wife in the mirror and he told me the things that he wanted to do to my ex-wife, the way that he wanted to perform the revenge, and I was satisfied because there were a lot of South Africans that were there. Some had brought their maid relatives, some of them they wanted some charms for businesses, so I felt at home even though I was not at home. When it was my time to talk about the way that I was going to pay him, he then said, since you have already brought your car, how about you just donate this car to me? And when he said it, it was as if it was a joke, but he did something to me with his eyes, because I said, a car, I can't just give you my car just like that. But he just looked at me, he blinked several times in a very short period of time. He was blinking so fast at me. That was when I said, okay, it's fine. How are we going to do this? He told me the process. He said that he knew some people that were working at the border. All that we needed was for the car to be cleared so that it won't have a trace on it. And I said, no, it's fine. I can sign any document that you want. I was rushed to a police station. We arrived there. I signed some affidavits of things that I did not even understand. And that is how I left my car in Zim. I was then given a charm that I was supposed to use so that I can be able to bewitch my wife. The charm, I can say that it worked, because as I am speaking with you right now, my ex-wife, she was amputated both of her legs. She had gone out golfing and she was with her mom on that day, but when they were returning back from the golf course, she fell out of the golf cart and then it fell on top of her. She was rushed to the hospital and her legs were amputated. I was happy, but my senses were coming back to normal, and I was like, but do you mean that I just drove my car and I left it to Zim? Why? This man, he had told me that he wanted such an amount, but why did I end up leaving my car? Because it did not make sense to me, because I also left money on top of the vehicle. Then that was when I became normal. I think that the charms now has expired. So this is the way that I lost my car. And even if you say you go and you report, but I signed the affidavits, everything. There is no trace that the car was a stolen car. I gave the car to him as a donation that I gave to him, and I left it to Zim, and he is the one that is using the car. So this car, it hurts me because I'm still paying for it to this very day. You don't know how much painful it is that I'm still paying this car, and this car, I am going to be paying that money that I am owing my bank for the next 5 or 6 years. This is where I am right now, and it has affected me so much that I can start to swell in my legs, even my face, because of the high blood pressure. I just need advice from your listeners. I'm so scared to even fight against this Sangoma because of the things that I saw at his house. There were several people that had disabilities. Some of them, they had been brought by their relatives. You can use his tokologies, and if you do not want, you go with your relative, the one that you would have bewitched, and then he can sort out that mad relative of yours. And I don't know the process, what happens afterwards. So what I saw at his homestead, it still terrifies me to this very day. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our DM brother. Strange things they do happen in this world. Let us try to speak with him in the comment section.